Hello? Okay, first I have to just say that I have been sleeping, so I've been trying to go to bed with Alex, and I cannot sleep through the whole night. It's been something that I've had as a problem my entire life, and so I just boom, I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was downstairs on the computer doing a little shopping, if I'm going to be completely honest. I bought this red Puma messenger bag, and so anyway, I had my hat on, and then I thought I brought it out here, but I can't find it in my car, so I apologize for my hair looking like absolute shit tonight, but that's what you get. That's what you get. What a day. I don't know why I'm saying that. It's not really anything happened today that was that exciting. I need a thumbnail. I always try to pick a good, cute picture of me for a thumbnail, and there's never any of them that are that good. At the beginning, which is always oh. So my day was, I met with some friends today. And then at 12 o'clock, and then I had my individual counseling session at 2, which was really good today. It is so cold outside. It's snowing. It's supposed to be icing. It's 3:19 right now. And I'll tell you why I was just sitting around the house at home before I came out here to do this. But so I met with some friends at noon, and then I went to my counseling appointment, which was really good today. We basically talked about recovery and by getting a new sponsor and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, and then after that, I went and I ran some errands, and then I came home, and I was gonna make a video right away. I was gonna make all my videos already, but yesterday I made my booktube video, and then I uploaded it, but it was so late by the time that it got done that I just uploaded it today as my video for today on booktube. And then I have my vlog, and so I just had to make my main channel video, my Peterisms channel, and I was so tired when I got home. This cold this year, I don't know what it is. It's just really making me exhausted most days. And oh, I know what had happened. Okay, so I finished Lily and the Octopus by Rowley. Okay, I have not, do you guys know what ugly crying is? You know, when ugly, okay, I have not ugly cried over a book, and I cannot tell you how long. It doesn't take a lot for me to get emotional in books and cry, but it takes a lot for me to really be inconsolable. I was inconsolable in this book. It reminded me a lot of, if you've read The Art of Racing in the Rain by Garth Stein. This car is creeping up on me. So anyway, yeah. I don't like that they're creeping up on me like this. So anyway, it was about this guy and his dog, and it reminded me a lot of me. I don't know why. It's the guy was gay, and I mean, a lot of it was not about somebody like me, but the relationship with the dog, with his dog Lily, was very similar to my relationship with Pee-Pee. And there, you can pass me by and go as fast as you want. I'm doing my vlog. I'm a safe driver. It's snowing outside. It's really pretty. It's kind of like that, Peanuts snow, that Christmas time is here, where they're skating at the beginning of it. But anyway, so anyway, it's about this dog that has a tumor, but he doesn't call it a tumor, he calls it an octopus. And the end of it, I mean, through the whole book that the dog is going to die. You just know that that's going to happen when you're reading the book, so I'm not spoiling it for anybody that's going to read it. But he goes into specific details, and he just I mean, she's his best friend in the entire world. And I always say to Pee-Pee, you're my best friend. And when we at night, I always get pee-pee and I bring him up next to me and I put his head on the pillow and he licks my face and I always go, who's my best friend? Who's my best friend? And we have a sleepover, that's what I call it. And Boo and Tucker sit right there and then I hold pee-pee and we talk and, well, I talk, but I like to think we talk, which is cute because in the book, Lily has a voice and so she talks back to him. But anyway, the last half hour of this book while I was listening to it was sobbing. I mean, inconsolable sobbing. And I got home and, it's weird how this whole, all this gratitude exercises have really changed my perspective of the world. It's made me very present. It's made me very thankful for just the smaller things in life and the bigger things, like food and home and a car and things like that. But at the same time, it's made me, I don't know, it's interesting because when I watched that Oprah aha moment when she was talking about the book Simple Abundance and how she started doing a gratitude list every day and she starts crying and in the aha moment, I feel like that when I do the gratitude list every day. And so I got home and I was like, there may be a day that I can't take a nap with my dogs, And so instead of making my videos, I got all the dogs, I took them outside so they could go potty, and then I uploaded my vlog from last night, and then I went upstairs and we laid down for an hour and a half, and it was so nice. And when Alex is there, because Pee-Pee was Alex's dog first, so Alex, he doesn't get to see Alex until at night, and I'm there all day long. So a lot of times, while we're going to bed, Pee-Pee always is over by Alex, and then when he goes to bed, he goes down to my leg and he sleeps right next to my thigh, and underneath the covers. Chihuahuas burrow in the covers. Do you hear this outside? It's now turned into sleet or rain or something. But anyway, so tonight, though, whenever Alex isn't there and we take a nap, he crawls up near me and then he lets me put my arm over him and sleep. It's so sweet. And so he let me basically cradle him while we were sleeping, and it was so nice. And then Boo gets underneath. Boo goes around and around and around and around and around underneath the covers until he finds the perfect place, which is always right up against me. And Tucker always sleeps on Alex's pillow. I think because Tucker's so furry that he likes the fan to just be right on him. So we took the most wonderful nap, and then I got up and I was so rested. And so I went downstairs then and made my video. I didn't make a Peterisms video today because I was running late. I had to pick up Tanya on time today. If you guys don't live somewhere where you get to see snow, I'm going to show you what it looks like right now. I mean, I'm sure you guys are yeah, we've seen snow before, but can you see that? It's really snowing right now. And it looks like it's not sticking to the ground, but it is sticking to the ground. It's just not sticking to the street because they have them salted. Tanya was getting her coin for her sobriety birthday. 22 years, Tanya Jean. And so we always go to Tuesday night, our meeting together. And so I almost said the name of the meeting. I had to pick her up. She was like, please be on time. I want to get there on time. So we got there at 10 till the meeting. And then afterwards, I took her to go get a fountain Coke, and then I took her home, and then I went to the grocery store, and I was really craving macaroni and cheese, so I got macaroni and cheese, and I had to get peanut butter and bread for Pee-Pee for his medicine. He has been so difficult lately with taking his medicine, and I feel so bad about it. This morning, it took me a half an hour to get him to take his medicine. I had those pill pockets are a waste of money. Don't ever buy them. Don't. They're a waste of money. The dogs eat all around them. They don't eat the pill pockets. So I tried two pill pockets, and then the spoon with peanut butter on it. He just kept on eating all around. The two small pills he'll eat, because he can't see him in there, but the bigger one he just eats around it. I put it in his food, and then he ate around that. I put it in leftover little pieces of cheese pizza. He ate around that. So finally I had to crush it up and put it in his food. And then when I was talking to Tanya tonight, she goes, you need to call the vet and ask him if you can crush it up, because sometimes they need the potency of it all together, not crushed up. And I didn't even think about that, so now I have to call the vet tomorrow and ask. But I think he knows that, like, the medicine's in there, and he's tired of taking it. I'm really surprised he's taking it as long as he has. You know, I mean, we've gone like 6 weeks now, and he hasn't really challenged us on the food. So, ooh, icy. I'll just kind of slide through that four-way stop there a little bit. So then I took the nap, and I made my videos, and then Tanya and I, and then I went and I got food, and I brought it home, and then Alex was watching Vanderpump Rules. So I sat down and I watched the end of Vanderpump Rules with him in the beginning of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and then he was gonna, like, finish that. I sat there for like an hour. He was like, I'm gonna finish this. He had like 10 minutes left and then go to bed. And I said, okay, well, I'm gonna go upstairs and get ready for bed now. So I did. And then he came up, and by the time he came up, I was already almost asleep. So we laid there and talked for a second, and that was it. Then he fell asleep. And then I, like, woke up at like 2, and I was like, boom. And I had wanted this vintage Puma messenger bag, and I hope it's small. I don't know how big it is. I hope it's like this big. I look so bad tonight, you guys. I guess I don't even care. You guys don't come here for my good looks. Let's just be for real. So anyway, but I paid like $50 for this bag. I really wanted a new messenger bag that I can, like, carry with me every day instead of my backpack, because my backpack has just, like, got so much shit in it. I want to be able to put, like, my wallet, my checkbook. I sound like an old lady. My wallet, my checkbook, my phone, you know, and a book in there. That's what I want to, like, be able to carry it with me, and just, like, stupid stuff like chapstick and that Evian spray that I like. I mean, I don't really need a whole lot more than that. Carry a purse. Tanya's always like, carry a purse. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to carry a purse, Tanya. I mean, I would carry a purse if I was high fashion, but I'm not. But I wouldn't be above it. You know, I'd be like, whatever, I'm going to carry a purse if I want to carry a purse. So I started the magic book. Today was my second day. The first day they had you do this thing called Count Your Blessings, and then today was the magic rock. And that's the thing that I was telling you guys about, where you have to hold this magic rock at the end of the night and then go through all, like, your best, like, memories of the day and, like, pick the best thing. I wonder what will be my best. Oh, probably maybe my nap with the dogs today was my best thing. And it is so cold in here, you guys. I'm afraid if I turn on my heat, the camera will stop, is my fear. But it's so cold. I'm gonna put it on my feet, and maybe the heat won't go up here. And then tomorrow you have to pick 3 pictures of people and write down, like, what you're thankful for with them, and specifically 5 things each, because you had to read tomorrow's activity today. And then you have to do, like, 5 things you're thankful for, and then, like, go throughout the day, look at their pictures. I'm actually going to do it differently. Last time I really did have pictures, but this time I'm going to do it, like, just on my phone. And I think I'm going to do Alex, Tanya, and my dad, because there's supposed to be 3 people that, like, you're really grateful for your relationship with. So I think those are the 3 people that I'm going to do. I was telling my counselor today, I was like, all of this, like, focused meditation and positive affirmation and prayer and gratitude lists and stuff, like, my life has, like, really, my attitude about things has really changed in, you know, the last kind of month or 2. It's interesting. And I have no idea where the camera shut off. It just shut off. So I don't even know what I have no idea what I was talking about. But I let it cool down for a little bit, and I've been listening to The Magical Art of Tidying Up, or something like that. The Magic of, I don't know. Alex was listening to it, and he really liked it. He's listening to it on iTunes. and somebody else told him to listen to it, so I got it because I thought, well, that'll be something that Alex and I can talk about, because Alex very rarely reads books anymore. I'm hoping like maybe he'll get into the whole iTunes audiobook thing, and like he'll start listening to books, and then we can like talk about them. He really likes nonfiction stuff. I posted a picture on Instagram, and we're gonna do a couple Q&A this weekend for Valentine's Day, and it was funny because there was a couple questions on there about like what's Alex's favorite books, and his favorite books are actually Augustin Burroughs books. Like he loves the book Dry. I think The Wolf at the Table is his favorite, which is about Augustin Burroughs' father. But like Alex used to read a lot. Like he read all the Chelsea Handler books, and he read like all of the Max, I can't think of his name, the guy that says I hope that Tucker Max, that wrote I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell. But typically Alex reads like, you know, not, I wouldn't call them self-help books, but more like nonfiction, like Blank and things like that. And he really likes books like that. Memoirs, he loves memoirs. And I do too, but I don't like the same kind of memoirs he does. Augustin Burroughs I love, but Augustin Burroughs writes very much the way that I would like to write, you know, like if I was going to do it, like, you know, the book of memoirs that I'm working on, like that's kind of like David Sedaris and, you know, I'm Still That Kid, that book that I'm working on. I've been working on something else recently. I kind of go back and forth. But, so yeah, I mean, I don't know what I mean. He's reading that book. So I got it on Audible and I'm listening to it. It's very interesting. Have you guys read it? Have any of you out there read it? It's really about like, if you I mean, I read it. What's funny about this is I read a book years ago that I don't think they have Kinkos anymore. I think they're all called FedExes, but like Kinkos, you know, copiers, they used to have books in there. And I always found some of the greatest books at Kinkos, like when I was like making copies and stuff in there and mailing stuff. And I found this book years ago about decluttering your like life. And it was really about cleaning up if you clean up your life, your closet, your house, that you at the same time declutter. Sorry. The same time you, I didn't mean to say that. The same time you declutter your like mind and your life, you know? And, so this is very similar to that. And it's also like I was telling Alex, I was like, you should watch that minimalist documentary on Netflix, because I watched it and I thought it was fantastic. And he was like, I don't want to be minimalist. Like I don't want to get rid of all my clothes. And I'm like, well, I'm not saying that you have to be minimalist. I'm like, you know, don't come for Alex's clothes ever. But I was like, you don't have to be minimalist, but like the whole attitude is about like, the less you have, the more like memories mean to you and experiences mean to you. And Alex really does believe that. Like, you know, I think that he would, you know, if tomorrow Alex could travel the world and just go to music festivals and go to all the places he wants to visit in the world, because Alex really has like a long list of places he wants to travel to, I think that he would get rid of everything he has. Like he wouldn't care. And, you know, maybe someday we'll do that. It's fun being a couple and planning for the future. And, you know, a lot of our dinners when we go out and stuff, we plan a lot of the future. And like I've said this before, but like when we go on vacation, one of the things that we always do is we always plan for like the next vacation that we're going to take and where we want to go next. And, you know, right now we've been talking a lot about our wedding anniversary, and do we want to renew our vows this year? Do we want to do it next year and have it be on an off year, like 11 years instead of 10? And because this will be our 10th year together in August, and it will be our 7-year wedding anniversary. God, that seems so weird to me that we've been married 7 years. I love being married. I mean, I really, really love being married. One of the questions that we got on this Q&A that I was looking through the questions was like, does it feel different being married? And it really does. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I remember like, so have I ever talked about my marriage on my wedding on here? I'll talk about my wedding. So, okay, Alex and I decided that we wanted to get married in Vegas. People always laugh when I say Vegas. I don't know why. Is it, I don't know, Las Vegas? I don't know how I say it. It sounds funny, but anyway. So we really wanted to get married in Vegas, and we had been out there once before. And have we been out there? Was it once before? twice before. We've been out there twice before. And the first time was the first year that we dated. We started dating in August, and in November, right before Thanksgiving, I took him out there for 4 days. And then the second time he took me to Vegas, and that was like 2 years later. A year later, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, and where did we stay the second time? I think we stayed at Mandalay Bay the second time again. I can't remember. I can see his friend coming in there. One of his college friends, Eric, lives in Vegas, so like he would like come and take us out to like clubs and stuff. We had such a good time, but he's so funny. And so we decided that we wanted to get married there because we wanted to do a destination wedding, first of all. And, you know, it just, like, when we started looking at, like, islands and stuff, oh, this was the thing. We didn't want to have a wedding and then, like, be, like, right on top of, like, all of our friends that were visiting us. So we wanted it to be somewhere that we could, like, kind of stay you know, like, where, like, Vegas is hard to, like, always be with everybody all the time anyway. So it was kind of, like, the perfect thing because other people could do what they wanted to do. So we started looking at packages out there, and Mandalay Bay, Bellagio, and Encore all wanted like $3,000 to $5,000 for like 30 to 60 minutes in like their chapel. Or something. It was ridiculous what the prices were. Well, the Cosmopolitan had just opened that year. And our friend Brittany at the time, she lived in Vegas. She lives in Ireland now. She's who married us. She officiated our wedding because she was one of our very first friends that we ever made as a couple, just together. And so she also holds the status of being, and this is so petty and so stupid, she would be, if she was in the car right now, she'd be like, Peter, please don't say that, of holding the first, she was the first supermodel ever to marry a gay couple. She, what's his name? The one that's, you know, Champagne Nights. What's his name that used to do that show? You know, Caviar Days and Champagne Nights. Anyway, he did some article about her because Brittany used to model. She was Miss Indiana USA. Now she is the director, I think, of Miss Ireland Universe or something like that. But anyway, so like he wrote this whole article about her being like, or wrote some paragraph and something about her being like the first supermodel to marry a gay couple. It was we had a fun wedding. It was very fun, and all of my family was there. All of Alex's family was there. So anyway, we decided to get married at the Cosmopolitan because, and we don't really ever, like, I don't know why we don't ever talk about this because it's tacky to talk about money, I guess, but like, we called all these places, and we actually were at a pool party here in Indiana, and one of our friends got married in Vegas, and she had, like, the woman that married her, this Angela woman, worked at Caesars, had just gone over to Cosmopolitan. She's like, call her, tell her, you know, that you're friends with us. This was our friend Val. And she was like, and she'll help you and she'll give you a good deal and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so we called this woman. Are you ready for this? They offered us like an hour in their wedding suite, which was actually, or their wedding area, which was actually 2 suites at the Cosmopolitan that overlooked the fountains of the Bellagio, and it was like with a wall taken down, and they had turned it into like a wedding suite. So they offered us that, all the flowers, the photos, like we got all these incredible photos. We got like 200 photos. Everything, like the room before, the room after, and we got 2 nights in a wraparound suite. Are you ready for this? Oh, we also got every one of our guests, we got a block of rooms, so anybody that stayed that was a guest of ours, they got their room for like a third of the price, and it was all we paid $700. So we ended up staying in Vegas for 11 days, and it was so much fun. We had such a good time. We flew in on a Sunday, and we stayed at Mandalay Bay, the hotel at Mandalay Bay, which doesn't exist anymore. I think it's the Delano. We stayed there because that was like the first place that we ever stayed in Vegas. So we stayed there Sunday night and Monday night, and then we went over to the Cosmopolitan, and we were there Tuesday night, and we were there Tuesday through Tuesday. No, that would have been 7, 8, 9. We were there 11 nights. So we stayed there Tuesday through Thursday. And then all of our guests flew in on Wednesday, and we got married on Thursday. We had our wedding reception at this restaurant in the Caesars Mall. It's like up above, and it's this Italian restaurant. It looks over like, it sounds cheesy because it's in a mall, but it wasn't. It was very cool. It was called Trivoli or something like that. It was really nice. And we had our rehearsal dinner at this restaurant that is like cheesecake. It's owned by Cheesecake Factory, actually, and I love it. I can't remember what it's called. It's like the Cafe du Monde. It's in the Palazzo. And that was so much fun. Oh my God, we had such a blast at that. And one of the reasons why we had Brittany marry us, this is really important, was that, and so Brittany married us. Alex's mom walked him down, and my dad walked me down. My dad spoke, his mom spoke, his brother Fufu spoke, my cousin Caroline was my best woman. Alex's best friend Sarah was his best woman. And the reason why we wanted Brittany to marry us was that she was the very first person that ever knew us as a couple, and we wanted to make a commitment in front of the first person that ever knew us as a couple. And we made this kind of weird commitment with her, like before we got married. We went out the night before, or 2 nights before we got there. We went out to dinner, and then we went to the Marquee Club at Cosmopolitan. And had this long kind of, she's a very spiritual person, first of all, which was important for me because I wanted Alex is not, but I wanted a spiritual aspect to our wedding. He wanted Venezuelan tradition, so we had a lot of Venezuelan traditions in our wedding. We wrote our own vows, and not a dry eye in the room. Everybody was like, oh my God, this is the most unique wedding ever. But anyway, and we sat down with Brittany 2 nights before, and we just wanted her to know that anytime we ever had any difficulties in our marriage, we would always come to her, and that she would hold us accountable for the reasons why we got married. And we've gone to her a couple times in our marriage, and it's just been a really cool thing, you know. And she's always had an investment in our marriage, and I've talked about her on here before. She's the one that encouraged me to like write down my dreams, and you know, that like she's really into all that kind of stuff, and she's a very, very spiritual person. I wouldn't say religious necessarily, but she's a very spiritual person. She had me read this book years ago, I'll never forget, called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. It was a great book. If you want a great self-help book, it's incredible. Anyway, she's just a really cool girl and woman, and I love her to death, and she has always been there for us. And so anyway, each person that was at our wedding, we only had 30 people there because one more over 30 we couldn't afford, because then it bumped up like $1,000. So my dad, my stepmom, Alex's mom and her husband at the time, Alex's brother Carlos and Liliana, who now live here, they flew in from Venezuela. She was pregnant at the time, and with Carlitos. And Alex's brother Fufu, he had just spent the entire summer in Venezuela visiting their dad, and so he flew in. Alex's dad was going to come, but then he couldn't come. He couldn't come out. He couldn't get out of Venezuela at the last minute. And then my Aunt Kathy and Uncle Dave, Caroline, my cousin, who else? And then like just a lot of our friends. I'm trying to think if there was any friends of ours Tanya could not come. And she was so upset about, like, at the last minute, she couldn't come because Caroline, my cousin, would have been my best woman anyway, but like I really wanted Tanya there, and Tanya had a huge issue with the kennel and couldn't come at the last minute, and it was this really hard thing. So, but we just had such a good time, and I'll never forget, we got up the day, my friend Heather and my other friend Heather that lives in Vegas, and we just had a bunch of people, another friends of ours, Melissa and Brian, that are like another couple friend of ours, not that Melissa, but a different Melissa. We actually, Melissa and Jason, we met them, so we had a joint bachelor party here in Indianapolis that was so much fun. We had such a great time, and we had this joint bachelor party, and Melissa and Jason were actually, so our friends, another friend, Melissa and Tawny, threw it for us, And Melissa and Jason were really good friends of Tawny, and so they invited them to come to the party, and we met Melissa and Jason the night before we left. That was the night before we left for Vegas. We met them that night, and we've been like lifelong friends ever since then. So isn't that crazy how that happened? And they brought a wedding present. They didn't even know us. I thought that was so nice. I'll never forget that. But anyway, they brought us like this like bar set kind of thing. Classy gal, that Melissa. Anyway, we had such a good time at that bachelor party. We wore matching corpse blue suits with navy blue tie, like striped, I think they were striped, navy blue ties, and like white shirts. The pictures from our wedding are everywhere. They're on my Instagram and all kinds of stuff. And I had brown hair in it. And then I wore black shoes, Alex wore brown shoes, and we both decided to not wear socks because it was Vegas. And yeah, our engagement rings and we had matching engagement rings were just these very masculine like steel rings. And then our wedding bands were all from Tiffany's, which is actually, if you're looking for wedding bands, are pretty reasonable, I have to say. Like, we looked around at a lot of places, and they were really reasonable there. And the other thing is that Tiffany has really great, like, return policies as far as, like, resizing your ring or, like, trading it in down the road and stuff like that. So, but the morning of our wedding, so, like, the night before, okay, this is a funny story, actually. So, Alex had Sarah, who he went to college with, his friend Nate, who he went to college with, Nate's boyfriend Caleb was there, Alex's friend Eric that lives in Vegas was there, and they were like all in Sarah's bedroom, like her hotel room after the thing, and they were all like drinking and partying like the night before the wedding, right? Because that's what you're supposed to do. We weren't going to stay together that night. This is so Peter Monn, are you ready? And so my cousin Caroline, like, because she's the maid of honor, or whatever you want to call it, the best woman, it was her responsibility to entertain me, okay? Well, we're in Vegas. What do you think that I want to do? I want to go play slots and gamble and have some fun. My friend Craig, my best friend Craig, and his boyfriend were flying in from Florida. Or no, they lived in Long Island at the time. They were flying in from New York. And they got there late because there was really horrific weather. And they actually had to fly out like the day of the wedding because of this hurricane. And they had to fly in there because they're dogs. I felt so bad for them. But anyway, they got in really, really late, and they did not stay at the Cosmopolitan, they stayed at the Wynn. And so I was like, Caroline called me, and she was like, I know she had had a couple, maybe too many glasses of wine at the at the wedding reception. And she goes, I know that I'm supposed to like entertain you and like do something fun tonight. She was like, but I am so tired. And she was like, to be honest, I've worked all week. She goes, would you care if I just want to, you know, like sit in the, I just want to sit in the bedroom and like, in my bedroom, I never just get time to myself and like put a movie on and watch it. I was like, Caroline, don't even worry about it. I said, I'll go downstairs and play like slots or whatever. Well, Craig called me as soon as he got in, and he was like, hey, we just got in, we just checked into the Wynn. Do you want to come over? We're going to grab some dinner. And I was like, he's like, I know that like, it's me and Caroline's job to like entertain you tonight. And I was like, okay, by the way, I just have to tell you this. If you ever have a chance to go to Vegas and you're staying for a night or two, splurge on a wraparound suite at the Cosmopolitan. They have them deals a lot throughout the middle of the week. It is has a wraparound patio, okay? It's one of the only hotels in Vegas that has a patio outside, so you get to stand outside. They have better views of the Bellagio than the Bellagio does, about the fountains. When we got married, you can see it in some of the wedding pictures and the wedding videos. When we got married, the fountains of the Bellagio go off in the background. They timed it that way. It was so cool. So we're like kissing when we got married. Like they're like, you know, you guys can kiss each other or whatever. And the fountains of the Bellagio are going off. And actually, it's funny because in the picture, if you look, my cousin Caroline's looking out the window at the fountains. So anyway, so Craig calls me and he's like, hey, why don't you come over here? So I was like, okay. And he's like, well, have Caroline come over and then we can like have dinner together and then we'll go to bed and then you and Caroline can play slots because we're really tired. We've been traveling all day. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I go, well, Caroline wanted to go watch a movie in her room because she had too many glasses of wine. She's super tired and she never just gets to relax to herself. So he goes, okay, well, come over here. He's like, I'll entertain you or whatever. So I go over to the Wynn. I had to take a cab over to the Wynn. So I take a cab over to the Wynn, and I get there, and we sit, and there's like nothing open except for this little shitty diner. So we sit in there, and we're like talking, and I had never met his new boyfriend. So we were sitting there, and I was like talking to his boyfriend, Tom, who's now his husband, and they were so nice to come. I mean, Craig works such a hard, long schedule anyway. He has a very serious job. And so we were talking and stuff like that, and I could tell Craig was so tired. And he was like, okay, so what do you want to do now? I said, girl, just go. Just go up to your room and go to sleep. You do not need to entertain me. And I ended up playing slots at the casino by myself. And I got back to the hotel room, and I love, okay, a little unknown fact about me that most hotels don't do anymore, and it really pisses me off, is I love on-demand movies. I love them, okay, like when you're in hotel rooms. Do any hotels do them anymore? I don't know, but it pisses me off, because I used to love on-demand movies in hotel rooms. Because you could always, like, get the movies that are still out in the movie theater, right? So I'm like looking through it, and there's like nothing I want to see, and I'm like sitting on the patio, and the whole Las Vegas is alive, and it's the night before my wedding, and I'm like, I have nothing to do. I was so pissed, right? So I texted Alex, and I was like, I know we're not supposed to see each other tonight. I know, will you please come and stay here with me tonight? I'm really lonely. And he was like, yeah, he was like, things are kind of winding down anyway. He's like, I'm sorry that nobody like came through. And I was like, whatever, it's cool. And but he didn't let me live it down for the longest time. He's like, I had to spend my wedding night with you. But anyway, he came back, and we had a good night, and we had a good night. So anyway, but that was like the night before our wedding, and we weren't supposed to see each other, and you know how that whole thing goes, but we did. And then I'm trying to go through this light here before it turns red, because this car is coming that way. But anyway, and then the next day, we got married at 6:30, because it was really important for me to get married on the up. If you guys know what I'm talking about, like it's good luck to get married up in the up. I had all of that kind of shit built into my wedding. Like all that kind of stuff was really important to me. It was really important to me that my mom was represented at our wedding. So my cousin Caroline said some things about my mom. And, you know, that was a hard day that my mom wasn't there. It was hard that she never got to meet Alex. I know she would have loved him, you know. So anyway, I don't know why that just made me start crying, but whatever. It's not like you guys aren't used to it. And we all went to the pool that day and laid out, and it's so weird thinking back on that day. It was such a good day. It's like the most perfect weather outside. You know, like, do you ever just like, I don't know if you've had that day, but like, I remember waking up and looking outside, and Alex was like, okay, so his mom and his stepdad and his brothers didn't stay at the hotel with us. They stayed somewhere else. And so they came over, and his brother at the time was like, Fufu was like 16 or 17, and so he brought a skateboard over, and he wanted to go to a skate park. Well, there was no no, that was the day after we got married, because it was like our first day married, and I was like, are you kidding me that I love your brother, but are you kidding me that we were supposed to take care of your teenage brother today? Like, it is our day, it's our first day of our honeymoon, you know? So anyway, but they all came over, like, and his brother was like in the hotel room, and so Alex was like, we're gonna go down to the pool, and I was like, okay. So my friend Heather texted me, and she was like, meet me downstairs, we'll go have coffee. So Heather and I went and had coffee, and she was so funny. She was like asking me always, she's like, are you sure Alex is the one for you? I'm like, yes, Heather. She's like, you know, anyway, we had a great talk, and she's like, well, I just want to make sure that you've, like, you know, asked yourself all the questions before you get married. I was like, I'm ready to get married. I was ready to get married 20 years ago, and I didn't care who, you know what I mean? So anyway, everything went off without a hitch. The only thing that happened on the whole trip that was like really, really negative, that was interesting, was that the day that we wrote our wedding vows at Mandalay Bay, and that night we got into some, this is funny, like, you know when like you have arguments with people, like with your partner, and you don't even remember what they're about in retrospect? We got into some argument in the hotel room. I can't even remember what it was about. I mean, it wasn't like World War III or anything, but I can remember looking at him and going, we have to write these fucking vows. And he's like, well, let's just sit down and write these fucking vows. And we started writing them, and like as we're like writing them, we both got like real emotional, and he's just like, I'm sorry, and I'm like, I'm sorry too. And so we ended up writing these vows, like, you know, in the midst of us, like, people are driving like crazy tonight. We ended up like starting these vows like in the midst of this fight, and then like writing these vows ended up making us like not fight. I don't know. It was such a great day. Such a great day. And the funny thing is that we had saved our money for so long for this trip, because like Vegas can be really expensive, and we ended up coming back with money because people were so generous. Like everybody paid for everything. Like I forgot that was like a wedding thing, but like everybody paid for our meals and our drinks and like going to do stuff, everything we did. Like people got us gifts of like going to see shows while we were out there. People were so nice. I mean, everybody was so nice. A couple of my friends gave us cash, you know, like to spend while we were out there. I mean, we did not worry about money at all. And I don't know. I always tell people, like, when getting married, don't spend a lot of money on the wedding. Spend it on the honeymoon. It is the time that you will have away from with your partner, your significant other, your husband, wife, whatever. Spend the money and the time on the honeymoon. The days after, every one of our guests flew out by Saturday. We got married on Thursday. They had all left by Saturday morning. So we had Vegas to ourselves, and it was for a week, and it was fantastic. And it was so much fun, and we did a lot of local stuff because his friend that lives there took us to some like local tapas restaurants and we went to a couple local gay bars like Piranha in Las Vegas, and we had a blast. It was just so much fun. And there's just something about getting married, and right after that, it's like nothing in the world can go wrong. I mean, like, you know, like I'll never forget laying by the pool next to him that, you know, next day. And all of our friends went to one pool and we went to another one so we could be by ourselves. And I said, does it feel different to you? And he goes, yeah, it feels good. And I go, I know it does, doesn't it? It's like, it feels like you ain't going nowhere. No, it feels good. It feels like, it just finally feels perfect, you know? And, I loved it. I'm ready to renew our vows and do it all over again. We were talking about that the other night. That's why we're so excited. You know, it's just like we had such a good time doing it. So we want to do a different place, and we want to do something really fun, and we want to kind of, you know, I don't know, have a second honeymoon and renew our vows on the beach or something like that. So, all right, you guys, that's a little bit of it. I'll tell you guys more about the honeymoon. We had such a great, I mean, not the things you don't want to know, but we had a really good time. And I think, you know, like, I don't know. I don't want to give anybody advice for doing their wedding. Everybody should have the wedding they want to have. I will say that, you know. And looking back, I had absolutely 100% the wedding that I wanted to have. Alex would say the same thing if he was sitting here. He'd say we had an amazing wedding. We had such a great time. We were so connected. You know, we were connected the whole time. And it was just, and I think for us, sometimes, like, we're so excited about going to Miami for Ultra Music Festival. And I think that's the thing sometimes, you know, is that, like, we need those times away to, like, reconnect, because we work so hard and we're so busy throughout the week that just to have that time away with somebody that you love is just so powerful and reunites your relationship, you know? All right, you guys, I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.